Hey guys, I'm Andy Raffel from eTechnics.com, and today we're going to be building a $500 affordable gaming build. Let's do this. So this build, I guess, is going to be for anyone who kind of want to make that move away from console and move over to the glorious PC master race. Yes, I am doing this in dollars. If you want to sort of look at it in pounds, if you are from the UK, then we're going to be looking at around 390 to 400 pounds. So not really that expensive in the grand scheme of things, especially when you look at the price of, say, a PlayStation or an Xbox, add in a few games, and well, you're looking at about the same price as this. But being a PC, you can do so much more with it. It's not just for gaming. You can watch movies on it, you can surf the internet, you can do all of that wonderful stuff that everyone in the PC Master Race loves to do. Now, the thing that you have to look at when you're looking at consoles is, yes, by the time that you add a few games in, you are looking at that kind of price point. With this, we're actually going to be testing a few games that are currently free to play and should be free to play until the end of time. Yes, there are more games coming out that are free to play. Some of them have kind of microtransactions, which I'm not a massive fan of, but still it opens up a bit of a pathway to move over to that. Other than that, it might just be someone who wants to buy, their first kind of gaming system, and this I think is going to be perfect for you. So let's take a look at exactly what we've got. Starting with the processor. So up here we have the AMD Ryzen 5 1600. Yes, there is the newer kind of 2000 generation Ryzen processor, so we could have gone with a 2600, but it is quite a lot more money. The 1600 currently is probably the best value for money processor out there when you're looking at the AMD side of things. Yes, we could have gone Intel with an i3, but the sheer kind of amount of cores and clock speed that you're going to get from the Ryzen 5 1600 is exactly what we want for the various tasks that we're going to be using this system for. Now, obviously, motherboard wise, you can go to the low end, you can go to the high end. We kind of went somewhere in between and went with the ASRock AB350M Pro 4. It does give you some kind of future upgradability. There is the ability to add an NVMe drive, M.2 drive, SSD, however you want to kind of, speed up your system at a later date. You have the ability to do it. It also has PCI Express slots, so we can slot a graphics card in there to give us some better performance when it comes to gaming. Now, in terms of storage, we've gone with a single 1TB WD Blue hard drive. Again, it's very affordable for what you get. It's going to be more than enough to sort of, hold on to probably, I'd say 5 to 10 of the latest games out there, depending on what games you're playing. Some are extremely large in size, some are a lot smaller. In terms of memory, we've gone with 2 sticks of 4 gigs, so we've got 8 gig in total of Crucial Ballistics DDR4 2666. If we decided to kind of get a little bit more performance at a later date, we could always overclock that, probably to around the 3000 megahertz mark without having to spend extra money by buying 3000 megahertz memory. Obviously, with the Ryzen processors, they do love super fast memory, so that's probably something to kind of consider. Obviously, with the processor, we could overclock that as well. You could, maybe beef up the cooler a little bit at a later date. Again, this is all stuff that essentially could be kind of free performance gains, but if you are looking at adding an extra, a better cooler to it, then that's going to cost you a little bit more money, taking you over the price point that we're trying to hit with this. For the power supply, we've gone with the EVGA 450BR. Pretty much the most affordable power supply you can get on the market, and as the name suggests, it is an 80 plus bronze rating, 450 watts, so it's going to be more than enough to power this system and even give you a little bit of headroom for sort of future upgrades. Now, the main heart of the system, I guess when it comes to gaming, is going to come down to the graphics card, and that's why we've gone with the Sapphire RX 570 Pulse. With the release of the NVIDIA 16 series graphics cards, AMD decided to drop prices a little bit, and this currently is probably the best performer for the money out there on the market. Yes, there's other brands that you could have gone with, but I actually really like the Sapphire Pulse. It offers good cooling performance, good acoustics, and great performance for the money. Now, all of this is all sort of, well and good, but we need to put it in a chassis that's going to make it shine. And that's why we've gone with the AeroCool Bolt. This is one of their newest chassis on the market. It is a mid-tower chassis, so everything's going to fit in there nicely. There is a little bit of kind of room for future expansion if you wanted to put in, say, another hard drive or a beefier cooler. And it does have addressable RGB on the front of it. It actually has 13 RGB modes. So I guess for anyone who's kind of a young teenager looking to have their first system for their birthday, or even if you're looking at this around December time for a kind of, idea around a Christmas build, this is going to be perfect because it is affordable and it's going to appeal to sort of teenagers because it has a few flashy lights on there as well. But you didn't come here to sort of, have me ramble on about sort of the specs. You want to see the performance. So before anything, I guess we should be looking at the sort of gameplay and how everything looks real time. Right, so the first game that we're playing is CSGO. We are running 1080p on this RX 570 $500 gaming build. And yeah, I mean, it'll pretty much play on anything. So at the moment we're getting 180 frames per second. I mean, I'm not the greatest at this game anyway, so yeah, I mean, we're getting 155 frames per second, sort of, you know, within sort of actually things happening within the game. So yeah, pretty impressed with that. Now let's move on to the next game. Okay, so the next game that we've got up is, of course, Fortnite. Anyone who's going to be building a $500 gaming build is probably going to be looking at Fortnite. So as you can see, we are looking at 1080p. Frame rate limit, we're going to chuck as high as we can go, so unlimited, because yeah, we want to take that off of there. Setting wise, it has kind of put us at epic. So yeah, hopefully we're going to get some good results. Obviously making sure that VSync is off as well. Okay, so we are in Fortnite, currently getting 74 frames per second. I mean, Fortnite again is one of them games that will kind of run on anything. So yeah, was kind of, you know, expecting pretty good stuff from it anyway. Haven't played Fortnite in about a year, so again, one of them games that I really don't even actually know what I'm doing. So this is going to be a fun one. Either way, we're gliding at the moment, 73 frames per second, 63. So we are above, I guess, that magical 60 number that everyone kind of wants to go with. As we're paragliding down, 67 frames per second. So just roaming around, we are on sort of 58 to 60 frames per second, which, you know, isn't quite above 60 frames per second that we'd be hoping for. But yeah, I mean, it's good enough. So I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. Okay, so next game up is, of course, Apex Legends. Anyone who follows me on Twitter will know I'm quite into Apex. So really, 1080p, turn the brightness up a little bit, just because this monitor isn't the greatest. VSync is obviously off. We've got texture filtering set to 4. Most of the settings are set to high, so, you know, this is kind of what the game has chosen for me. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so we're in a game, heading for the hot zone by the looks of it. We've got another team with us as well, so this should be quite interesting. I'm actually going to break off a little bit. And see if I can find something. Okay, no loot at the moment. There we go, I got a kill. So yeah, 93 frames per second on the little cutscene. Admittedly, that was quite a nice kill with the triple take. Let's see what else we can find where the rest of our team is. So yeah, we're getting sort of 70 to 85 frames per second, so I am pretty happy with that. Like I say, this is on an RX 570 Pulse from Sapphire. At the moment, you know, you can pick that up for a very, very competitive price. I think a lot of it came down to, I guess, Nvidia coming out with the 16 series. I guess AMD had to do something, so that involved, you know, dropping the price on the 570s. And as you can see, we are still getting really, really good frame rates for an affordable price, which is what you want in this day and age. Okay, so I got one kill and I'm just wondering where the rest of his team is. Let me know as well in the comments section, when you play this game, who do you normally play as? I quite like Octane just because he runs stupidly fast. But sometimes, you know, I mix it up a little bit and go for a slightly different character. But it all depends on, I guess, who I'm playing with and all that as well. I always find there's certain characters that kind of, you know, merged and mixed together quite well. So like Bangalore and Lifeline, they seem to, I don't know, kind of bounce off each other quite nicely. So yeah, 82 frames per second, 75. Even, you know, during the fight that I had at the beginning, yeah, I was still getting a pretty decent frame rate. So quite happy with that, I guess. Maybe we should move on to the next game. Okay, so next game is World War Z. Now, there is a little caveat with this. I have actually got it set to DirectX 11. Depending on the type of gameplay that you game with, you can get sort of better frame rates with Vulkan. Sometimes it's better with DirectX 11. Obviously, we're running an RX 570, so sadly, we only get the choice of DirectX 11. We are running at 1080p. Vertical sync is off. There's no FPS limit whatsoever. And again, the majority of the settings here are set to high. There's only really the texture quality set to medium. This is what the game has kind of instructed me to play with. So let's give it a go. Let's start with the first level, which is Descent. For anyone who hasn't played this, it is an absolutely amazing game. So I have currently got the game set to difficulty 1. For anyone who's interested, me and a couple of guys on the Discord server actually did try this on level 5. We didn't last very long. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. So, of course, yeah, DirectX 11 here, we want to see what kind of frame rate we're getting at 1080p so that, you know, if you are looking to play this game and you have only got a modest budget, something around $500 to build something like we have, then this is kind of, you know, the frame rate that you're going to be getting. Okay, so frame rate wise, we're currently sitting at 97 frames per second. So, you know, 92. For some reason, the game does feel a little bit laggy. I don't think it's down to this system. I know this game has a lot of bugs. So there has been updates. I mean, even I think day 1, there was a lot of bugs as well. So yeah, it's just one of them games, I guess, unless you are running a stupidly high-end system, then you are going to experience some problems. Hopefully they're going to fix it, you know, at a later date, but when that is, who knows. There was massive issues with kind of multiplayer and stuff like that. But obviously we're here to test out how things are looking sort of graphically, and things look very, very good. Obviously it is a fast-paced game. There is a lot going on in terms of sort of the physics side of things, in terms of, you know, the ragdoll effect that you get from the zombies and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm always expecting, I don't know, not the greatest results in this game, but, you know, currently we're getting 106 frames per second. During sort of, you know, the firefight and things like that, a little bit lower, but still some really, really good results. So yeah, 111 frames per second. Obviously there's a little bit of firefight going on now. It drops down to sort of 97. So it's always fun trying to actually play a game and keep an eye on the frame rate so I can talk to you guys about, you know, what I'm actually getting. Now, in the purposes of making this video not too long and sort of getting to the point, we wanted to show off a few games as we just did, but we did actually test this on a variety of different benchmarks as well. So let's run those glorious benchmarks. So there you have it. The whole purpose of this video was to make an affordable gaming rig, and I think $500 really is kind of classed as affordable. Yes, you are going to have to buy a monitor, keyboard, mouse, but when you look at it, you could pick up a cheap keyboard and mouse for sort of, you know, $20, and you could just use your TV that you may already have at home, you know, just as a temporary thing until you move over to a proper monitor. Even then, a 1080p monitor isn't going to exactly break the bank. You're probably looking for around sort of $70 to $80. Let me know in the comments section below if you'd go for maybe something slightly different with this spec. I think we actually balanced everything really, really nicely. Yes, you could have gone for a slightly newer processor than the 1600 Ryzen 5, but I actually think that gives kind of the sweetest spot at the moment, at least until the new Ryzen processors come out, of value, performance, and just everything that you get. Again, even with a graphics card, with the RX 570, we could have gone for maybe the slightly newer sort of GTX 16 series, but the 570 actually offers better value when it comes to performance. Yes, we did go with a stock cooler and probably not the most future-proof motherboard, but you still have the ability to add an M.2 drive. You could add an SSD at a later date, but the 1TB hard drive should at least get you up and running. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comments section below if you want to see kind of more videos like this, where we kind of, you know, build a computer system at a certain price point, test a few games on it, and show you exactly how it performs. And we will link to all of the specs of the system down below. there you go. I will see you in the next one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. See you later. Bye-bye. Now, to make this video sort of, you know, not stupidly long, we want to get to the point. The 1600 is probably the one, you know, the perfect one for the choice. Perfect one for the choice.
I was gonna say.
What the hell are we saying? Oh.